Galahad. It is Colombia's Belagarth realm. There's various schools of LARP, but the two we relate most to, we as Belagarth, is Amtgard and Dag. We, I feel, fall right in the middle where it's like split 50-50, where you have the fantasy element to it, but at the same time, someone that's not crazy into fantasy and just like sword play could really enjoy it too.
I think that role-playing overall should be something everyone should try at least once. Everyone has pretended to be, a knight or a fireman or a police officer. I mean, this is something that lets you kind of go out there and really be the character in your mind. I think as people get older, they kind of lose that imagination, and this kind of lets you really step back into it and almost be a kid again for a little while.
It's just been a really rewarding experience, like getting people into this and making their own characters and making their own weapons. Just like watching people grow from someone that really just showed up one day.
Part of why we're here is to formally start the realm of Morva. As many of you know, and for some of those who do not, Chicago never used to be a big name in the sport. For some time, fighters in the city were a dying breed, with no organization to unite them, no rallying cause to bring them together. Now, seeing you all before me brings hope that Belagarth will again flourish here. I want you all to know that we are proud and honored to be here with you today, and I hope that we'll all continue to grow together. Morva is about joining a family. It's joining a community of people who will do everything in their power to help you improve, be it in-game or out. These oaths that you're about to take are not meant to be a silly roleplay ritual. They are meant to bring us together as a realm, across our chapters, and they are to be a declaration of commitment to each other. It is a commitment to help each other, a commitment to constantly do your best. Reflect on these oaths, and take them only if you mean to commit. Thank you.
My family really, they didn't like it. They kind of thought it was really nerdy, and my mom more thought I was just going to get hurt, because at least in football I'm padded, and this is just kind of people hitting you. My dad kind of just, he wasn't on board in the beginning, but he is now. Now he's like super behind it. So he saw me fight once, and he was like, this is really physical stuff. Like, it's not just like tapping around. It's kind of what he thought in the beginning.
And I became Gawain because he is probably one of the worst knights of the Round Table. He challenged this Green Knight, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And the knight said, whoever is going to cut off my head, that's fine, but I have to then, in return, in a year from now, cut off your head. And Gawain stepped forth like, oh, if I'm going to kill him, he's not going to cut off my head. So he cut off his head, and then the Green Knight picks up his head and says, okay, see you in a year, and rides off. And Gawain's terrified, and he puts off going to find the knight until like the last possible moment. Along the way, he gets this belt that lets him survive any injury, and rather than being brave, he wears that to make sure he doesn't die. And he gets there, and the Green Knight calls him out on it. He says, you freaking coward. What's your problem? Why are you even doing this? And that's kind of how I feel a lot of the time. I mean, early 20s is tough. Everybody's like, oh, being a teenager is tough, being an adult is tough. No, it's not. Compared to, working full-time, having to go to school full-time and figure out what you're doing with your life, it's absolutely terrifying. And I'm worried that I'm going to become, this slacker or a coward or something. And I guess that my name is me hoping that whenever I'm faced with these challenges, even if I mess up, there will be somebody there to, kind of set me back on the right path and keep going. Kaylee tackled me, and that was our first day knowing each other. She tackled me and beat the crap out of me, and we became best friends.
The way that people are able to go from that full energy fight mode to being friends afterwards is that I feel that everyone has the basic understanding that, this is just a game. It's an intense game, but it's a game.
Just have fun, try to improve, and keep in the back of your mind that, we are grown men dressing up and hitting each other with foam weapons. Don't take it seriously. Don't take anything too seriously, otherwise it just becomes a chore.
The LARPing community is very all-inclusive. There's a place for everybody. There's a lot of people that come to events that don't even fight, but like they can still hang out. Each person can get their own experience out of it, but like every experience is a good one. Like nobody is ever turned away. You can go up to any camp and go hang out with those people, or you can go up to any fighter and be like, hey, let's spar.
The way that we think about the world comes from our understanding of fantasy, mythology, what have you. Legends, fairy tales, call them what you want. They don't teach kids that dragons exist. Kids already know dragons exist. Teaches kids that dragons can be slain. And I agree with that. I agree with that more than anything else. Imagine hearing for the first time the story of The Hobbit, where a short, fat, middle-aged, basically like English dude saves the world just by mistake. But it's not just by mistake. It's because like he was important enough as himself. He didn't have to be some hero or some military leader or some dictator or some celebrity. It said that, fantasy teaches everyone that you're important because you're important. End of story.